Fantastic 8 laps, the two in front of us done really well. First F2 back, amazing, what a great driver.
Yeah, and Gregory Lambert, thanks for extending your holiday, and you're going to take one of our Kiwi boys home maybe, or want to?
I'd certainly like to. I'd firstly like to thank Carl Cox and Gavin for extending this trip. I'd like to thank Pete the Pirate for lending us the bike to be able to do this, because mine's gone home. And I'd like to give my very, very, very best wishes to Barry, who's laid up at the moment.
Yeah, no, Barry's helped him come through the country. He said, I've no doubt you're friends from the UK in the old days.
No, not really. I don't know of Barry, but he made us so welcome when he came to ask us to stay at his house. And we've used his workshop, and I'd like to think we've become very, very good friends. And I just wish he was here today. But Barry, we've got on the podium for you. I said I'd do it. And I can't thank everybody enough for being so hospitable. And the Kiwi Lake Nation, they're really nice people. And thank you very much for making us so welcome. And thank you to all my sponsors that got us here.
Thank you very much. On to quickly Drew and Alan, second place, mate. These guys have got the answer.
Oh, just ecstatic after yesterday as well. Finally on decent chair, just ecstatic.
Mate, it's just fantastic. I don't know what to say. Got to thank our sponsor stickers and a little 8-pound, 6-ounce baby Jesus.
All right, thank you. I didn't catch that one, but Tina McEwen. Oh, wow. You better not swear, mate. Yeah, sometimes her swear jars fuller than a Tourette. Suffer a one.
My first ever win, I'm absolutely stoked, and my mate here, Scrivener, he's just rode like a demon, and we're doing really well considering we're a really new team, and we're sidecar.
We're just going to let the Super Sport 600 start, just get off to it, and then a quick word from Andy Scrivener, your first win on a long bike. 8 or 9 New Zealand Championships ones you've had, trophies?
Yeah, I've had a few, Spider, more than one anyway, but this is awesome, mate, to win our first long bike race with Teeny on the side. She was so nervous before that race, and she hung in there and was just there till the end, man. She was just such a good, because in our first race we didn't get to finish it, obviously, and so that was her first time in anger on the track, because the qualifying was just sort of Doddle was first time on the track, so that was our first time in anger, and she was there from start to finish and won the race. Good on her.
Magic, thank you. Over to you, Neil Ritchie.
Thank you indeed, Spider. Only too happy to do a podium like that one. Has got quality competitors. Yes, indeed, we might miss the start of this race, but as you can appreciate, folks, we've got some time to make up for here today. We've lost over an hour with a few incidences, but in this beautiful South Canterbury sun, we've come out to shine, and so too, of course, will the heat in the track and the heat in the tyres and the heat of the riders, man, on their dark leathers here today. These guys are going to be pumping some sweat as we get excited to pump up some more good racing. And look at this for the break out in front. Come on, everybody. Keen to get beside it as we go racing again. The Jake Lewis Show setting a field alight. Great work to watch. And there goes Super Jake. There he goes, Jake Lewis out in front. Great to watch ahead of David Hall. What a scorcher he's had. Ahead of James Hugenboos and Brogan Chandler. Toby Summers out there. Crashed in the last race. Not happy with himself at all. Knew it was his issue. Back to MTF Finances, Avalon Biddle ahead of Hughes Garage of West Coast, Ashton Hughes from Dale Finch, Peter Allison. Dale had to pull out the last race, Simon Perry, Tom Langridge in there, and John Crawford. Bring it on for Southern Suzuki. John having a huge effort in New Zealand road racing. He's been generally a smaller bike campaigner, but coming up to the 600 Super Sport class, and this is a real class now. We're talking about being in the top 2 classes in New Zealand road racing. Super Bikes and Super Sport 600 are certainly all where it's at. Delighted to have Jacob Stroud, who's actually was in this field originally to race, but he's decided to pull the pin on this championship and just concentrate on doing his racing in the smaller bike class. But Jacob, are you missing it already?
Yeah, no, I would love to be out there having a good fight and making the bike a bit better and improving my riding, but not things just don't work out sometimes, and just here to watch some great racing.
Great to see you. All right, young Jacob Stroud with us and igniting the field. Here we go back to our show at the moment, and it's David Hall, the one that's become the impressive rider in this lineup at this stage, as we then look out to our update. And it's Jake Lewis with the fastest time from David, James, Rogan and Toby. That's where the top scene is set. Keep your eyes on them. What a run to go through as they charge along the Alpine Energy straight. There we go. See those two Underground Brown Budget Motorcycle Spares Triumph first and third at the moment. David Hall looking for a better result, man. I'd like to see that guy on the podium at the end of racing, and potentially the chance to do so with where he sits there at the moment. This is good work from David, man. The improvement this guy makes, and then all of a sudden there'll be a little bit of a setback, and so it's a bit of toing and froing for him on a personal level, but great to see that here in a national championship race how he's doing so well. He had a scholarship he received a couple of years ago after his excellence of racing that he showed as well, and the quiet, unassuming young man from the Waikato, the dairy farmer up there, is just loving his road racing and going better all the time and enjoying it out on that Suzuki. As we look at now, there's the biggest gap we've seen between Jake and James, I think, in the whole championship. James won all 3 races at World Premier last week, and he hasn't got any answers for him. I talked to him before in the pits, and he just said he thought that he was leaving his braking as late as possible, and nobody could get on the inside of him, and Jake Lewis did it. Why is Jake better here, do you think, Jacob?
Jake's done definitely a lot of laps around here. He's a top quality competitor, has been for a number of years. Really impressed with David Hall. He's a top man on his day, one of the best riders we have in New Zealand. If you could just find the consistency, he'd be up there with the championship with the likes of James and James. And he's just done a 5.0, which is about 3/10 quicker than anyone else around him, and it just shows on the track at the moment as he's pulling away from James and catching up on Jake.
Great to see Jacob Stroud, guest commentator, with us at the moment. He was in this class, but he's decided to take a break and just concentrate on the one class, and we'll talk to Jacob shortly about that class and the bike that he's riding, the unique Kramer Motorsport KTM-powered unit, and like a lot of machines now that are effectively a hybrid. That's what we're talking about, not a production bike. You don't go along to a motorcycle shop and buy a Kramer, so we'll find out more about that bike as we get back into the racing. It's the Jake Lewis show, and look at that from David Hall. David Hall, the fastest lap time of the race. He got it in the last lap. Who's going to be the fastest this time? Might it be a change, or will it still be his from the earlier lap? I think, in fact, it would be, because now that he's almost on the tail of Jake, you're not likely to do a faster time. You're always conscious of where that other rider will be. You just have that split second at times when you're not quite at 10 tenths to take the advantage. And look at that from James as well. James Hugenboozem back there. So it's the Jake and James show, and David's the salami and the sandwich between them as he looks to match the pace. And anybody, as we've seen, Spider, those two guys have looked like there's going to be nobody else to touch them, but that's a great ride from David.
Oh, yes, and just a call out, a personal call out. David needs to go back to the airport up in Christchurch very, very quickly, and his pit boys need to take him up there, but we'd love to get a ride for him so he can get to his flight, because the pit team want to stay here and have a couple of man coffees tonight, but also they want to watch the Superbike, and of course they will be here. Colin and Peter will be here to collect some sort of podium if he remains in this position or changes, because that's a podium there in second place and the fastest man, the son of Trevor Hall from Trevor Hall Motorcycles and Susie Hall from Trevor Hall Motorcycles in Te Awamutu. I know the Vincent Owners Club this week, their bulletin was put out to watch one of their members' sons to watch them racing, and I hope you're there watching. I know Heather Hardles is, but right now going through there, Jake Lewis, David Hall, James Hugenboozem, that's 29, 34, 85. We go back to Toby Summers. All of those guys are within 0.1 of a second of each other about a lap ago. We got 105.567 for Jake Lewis, 105.557 that's 1/100 separating first and third. David a bit slower there, 105.8, but we go back into the 105s as well for Toby Summers, who had a crash in that last race. 105.844 for Avalon Biddle. That was the fastest last lap, so Avalon Biddle got a couple of leads there in races earlier. She was a strong contender at Taupo for a podium. Unfortunately had a crash last year, but Avalon on the MTF Finance ZXR6 were prepared by Chris Osborne. Wow, David Hall is missing in action. So we're going to have a look at the screens here. David Hall is missing in action. Is that him coming back there in about 4th or 5th place? Did he have a run-off? Okay, let's go back to what's live on the track. And it still is Jake Lewis, followed by James Hugenberger. That's pulled Toby Summers into there as well. And then behind him it's Logan Chandler and young Avalon Biddle. We go back a bit further, and this is as of the last lap. Ashton Hughes on a borrowed bike. Had problems with his bike, number 92. And Conrad lent him another bike, an Aotea electrical bike. What beautiful bikes the Aotea team have got as well. And that's him coming through, and he's been hunted down by number 7. And that's young Dale Finch. He had a DNF in the last race, so that's valuable points for him. We go further down, and Peter Allison, Simon Perry, Tom Langridge from Kaiteritiri, I think his father's from. Hey mate, I don't know your name, but Tom's dad, 18 there. John Crawford is also a DNF somewhere along the line. So that's the other Suzuki, one of the other Suzukis out there, Neil Ritchie.
Yeah, indeed, there's our update at the moment, and back here with Jacob Stroud. And first of all, Jacob, how would you like the opportunity to fly on one of those Triumphs?
No, they're definitely a weapon of those things. The 675 Triumph, beautifully prepared by Dennis Budgeon Motorcycles. They've been an absolute weapon all day. going around and qualifying, thinking I'm doing real well, and they'll come flying past me and put me back in my place to realise what I'm actually doing. But no, James is riding really well, catching up on Jake here, and it should be one of those triumph battles all the way to the end again.
It will be all the way to the end as we watch for the update this time, and it is out there, the Jacob and James show. And I said to James, well, there you go, you'll take alternate wins. It was James, everything at Ruapuna, his home track. Jacob, everything here, you'd call it his other home track. Well, so far that is 2 out of the, or this is the third race, of course. He's already done 2 out of the 3. So they'll potentially be exactly tied on points at the end of this race. Wouldn't that be wicked? With 2 to go in the North Island, they're both South Islanders, so they'll both be on foreign tracks. Who can muster the better out of the Hampton Downs and Taupo tracks that is likely to be the champion between these two guys. So Triumph in that 675. We've never had a Triumph 675 win in New Zealand 600 Super Sport Championship, so potentially a first we're installed for here. And well done to Budget Motorcycles, Bears and Underground Brown for supporting 2 great riders and 2 awesome bikes. And as you watch them out there, so close to tell them that they are almost, as the saying goes, throw a blanket and cover the lot.
Yeah, great racing here, and interesting that Jake Lewis is also the current lap record holder of the 600 stock production around here at Levels, and also the Superlight class, the what used to be the Formula 3. So that's it. But I tell you what, never discount a Hoogaboos. The biggest, easiest way to recognise these 2 riders is the bright yellow number board on the side of the number 85 bike. That is James Hoogaboos, identically prepared pretty motorbikes except for that. So that's the way to. They've got different coloured helmets that, but right now Jake Lewis with the red helmet on the 29 machine, a number his father passed on to him some years ago, and his father was a legendary racer in the mid-80s, about 85 on Yamahas, and that was Rob Lewis, but he's leading there, and there's about 5 bike links as between them as they go into John Jones and out of the John Jones steel corner, Neil.
Yeah, indeed, and head down and towards into the bottom. They call it McKissick, and it's part of our circuit here at the moment, brought to us by some great sponsors here at Timaru, including, of course, the Timaru Scrap Metal Recyclers, also to Alpine Energy, and also to South End Tobay. So just some of our great sponsors here at the local circuit. Of course, commemorating 50 years here of Levels in the South Canterbury. So well done, and wishing all the best for that function coming up at the end of the month as they'll celebrate 50 years of this fantastic circuit. Still owned by the club, managed by the club, and with great people like Lion Foundation and Trust Our Recce behind them, they can't go wrong. With a big resealing endeavour over the next couple of years, doing half next year and half the following year. So, man, if you're going to put some fresh tar seal down on this place, this is world-class tracks right here in South Canterbury. Great to see as we check them out. There's the racing going on, still the Jake Lewis show at this stage. But remembering last time it was James Hoogie, and then we saw the bounce. We saw the bounce from Jake to get through and get that advantage. And last time James said, well, I don't know how he did it, he couldn't. But what's he learned from that? Hopefully to do exactly the same. And maybe we'll see him pounce on that final lap as he goes. Unfortunately, David's dropped out of the picture, so too for John Crawford. The other riders are only 1 lap less, and still at this point we've got 6 laps to go, so plenty of good racing, Spider. This title is not over.
Good racing, just 3/100ths of a second. 3/100ths of a second separated a lap between those top 2 riders about 2 laps ago. So now we go in the last lap time of 105.524 or 105.554, sorry, for James Hoogenboos. So that's 3/100ths of a second, and absolutely sensational. In fact, James Hoogenboos 105.2 is his fastest lap. Jake Lewis at 105.4. Never discount any Hoogenboosums from the racing. It's just absolutely sensational, Neil.
It is indeed, and let's not rule out Toby Elliott. He made the mistake. Toby Summers, he made the mistake last time, so Toby, he'll be conscious of the fact that he doesn't want to make it 4, but he'd love to run with those guys in front. He just needs to know that getting third, let other people make the mistakes, not you trying too hard, but you make the mistakes. As we look to an awesome CTAS live audio and video streaming replay, and watch how close they were coming over the line and through that part of the track, courtesy of Carter's tyres. We watched that flip-flop going on, and it was just magic to see the line taken down through there. That is so good. Down the Timaru Metal Recyclers straight into the corner. Good ground made up there by James Hughes. And if you go point to point, James Hoogenboos would probably have the 0.1 of a second over the man in the front of the field at the moment. So nice to watch as we see Avalon peeling away through the field there at the moment. She's in 5th place. People like Ashton Hughes around her, so good effort from her as we come down here again. Looking out for it at this point now. It will be just 4 to go. And what do you think? Are we going to see a change? Spider, can James do it? What do you reckon?
Well, Jake Lewis holds 2 lap records in other classes here, but James Hoogenboos poked his nose up on the end of the start-finish straight there, not quite enough, but he's rattling Jake, although Jake's such a mature and level-headed rider, I don't think it'll rattle him. He's just such a professional, as is indeed James Hugenbosom on the 85 machine. Beautifully presented bikes. I believe the bikes are owned by Underground Brown, Vicky and Tony. They give them to Budget, and Dennis Charlotte do all the preparations, and then it's up to the individual riders, number 29, number 85, to go out and find the money to run the machine. So they gel well as a team, been around a couple of years, and beautiful presentation in that. And Toby Summers, mate, he's pretty well on fire out there, but I think he's going to have to settle for third place. A bit of a lonely ride. Rogan Charnley getting better and better. Got a podium last weekend and a podium in our first race on the number 15 Yamaha New Zealand sponsored machine. Avalon Biddle there in 5th place. Ashton Hughes, Dale Finch, Peter Allison, Simon Perry and Tom Langford. 10 bikes out there as another lap goes down. 3 to go, Neil.
Indeed, and got Jake Stroud with us at the moment as we look out to the Jake Boyd, James Hugenbosom show. And thank you, Spotter's just leaving his microphone in here. So, Jake, what has... oh, look at that. Maybe the line on the inside. I'm going to say, what has he got to do? But just as he got the drive, he actually got a bit of sideways slip as well, so didn't get the advantage. Where do you think James is getting the advantage, and can he get past Jake?
So the bikes are so evenly matched in speed that down the back straight is a good opportunity with the slipstream that James is going to get. He's quicker through the bus stop coming onto the front straight, but everywhere else looks like Jake's able to hold his own.
All right, there you go. So a tight one at the moment, and as we've updated, we've only got 3 laps to go of the 15-lap race, so it's all on for the final for this class today. This is, of course, to our championship contention, and our Timaru Yamaha-sponsored Super Sport 600. Timaru Yamaha at home with Shoei, Shirai, Berwick RST, Michelin and Pirelli, just some of the quality brands, but a fistful of them. All the parts you want, all the expertise. There's nobody that matches the expertise of Grant Ramage. 41 years of motorcycle sport, and, of course, there's never been a year go past where he hasn't raced out on this track, so that is just incredible in itself. New Zealand's longest running continuous competitor in motorcycle racing at 41 years. Yes, there's been others who have been around for 41 years. First race more than 40 years ago, but no, they haven't done it in every year since then. So what a spectacle for this man. People like the great Bob Grover fit in that category, of course, and Bob's currently out with an injury, so that's the kind of thing that puts a blur on his copybook. But if Grant Ramage has been around for 41, and he only still looks like he's about 43 anyway, so he's still got plenty of great riding in store for him. And you watch, folks, in that Super Sport 300 when he comes out on that Timaru Yamaha R3 Yamaha. He'll be in the hot scintillating form, but Spider, here we are with a lap and a half to go at the moment, and if there was an opportunity for James Hugenbosom, I thought he might have taken it on a couple of tight turns, but at this stage, Jake Lewis has got it covered every time.
Oh, mate, we've seen 1/100 of a second between them for 2 laps, 3 laps or 4 laps. Now we're back to a massive gap in their fastest, or their last lap time of less than 3/100ths of a second. It's all about getting past people, and of course now we're coming to Croppers Lappers, especially here coming into the bus stop. A lap is there. This is what happened in the last race, so they follow him behind. That's going to slow possibly Jake Lewis round, but here comes up on the inside, one between them, sandwich between them. That's right, they get through there okay. Both of them get through there. Their lapper done well there, hold his line. The guys worked out, so there's now half a bike length between them. Not even half a bike length. In fact, I think James Hugenbosom almost run into the back of Jake Lewis. It didn't stop his drive onto the back straight, down that back straight. And we have the white flag out, and this is the last lap of the race here for this third race of the weekend for the Super Sport 600s here. Neil Ritchie, you got any money on anyone?
No, it's still going to be Jake Lewis. I tell you what, there's been all that pressure in the world, and well done to James Hugenbosom. There's actually a shot on the C-Test camera where you look and can only see one orange bike. It's because the other one is directly behind it in its shadow, and you only see one. That slip streaming to its excellence. Do you see any change, Jacob? What do you think?
Watching the hip, and now James up around the outside. Jake covers the inside, right around the outside. It's not going to work, is it? He's going to try and up the inside of the left-hander, and he's done it.
Oh, it may have done it. He may have done it, folks. It may be the change. Are you ready to get on your feet and give him the applause he deserves? Because he has made it sticks. James Hugenbosom. Oh, no. And look at that from Jake. Jake, in fact, has gone the other way. It's going to be James Hugenbosom to take it. Look at that with excitement. How did he do that? He did exactly what we've done as we look to the other way. Oh, Toby just hanging in there, so close at the moment. And the money there at the moment, 0.055, folks. That's 55 1,000ths of a second. Nothing in it. Oh, Toby, he's 5.3 behind Jake. But I tell you what, Rogan Chandler, that is absolutely incredible, fighting his way back with Avalon Little. Oh, there we go.
Oh, he's just blown his bike up. Oh, at least it's after the race, but what happened is there was an overshoot there for Jake Lewis going into the bus stop. He rejoined where he's supposed to. The rules say you've got to rejoin back in there. He's pulled a massive wheelie down the back straight, and there's a cloud of smoke there, so Ouch. Ooh, there'll be someone with the wallet hurting for that one, but
Well, yeah,
importantly,
but-
it was after the race.
Yeah, exactly, and no more races to come as well, so we've got another 6 weeks before we need to get it out on the racetrack again for round number 3 at Hampton Downs for Moto Fest coming at you. More details at NZSBK, folks. Follow it on NZSBK. There'll be people here that'll say, wow, we'd love to see more of that. You're going to say go to Hampton Downs, south of Auckland, too far to go, but I tell you what, Moto Fest will be something else. Look at that from James. Fist up in the air, and look at the crowd cheering.